Hey guys, this is Sean Ilg. This is the next in our multi-part series of videos talking about lessons I have learned from various influencers in the last couple years. Today's subject is Chalene Johnson, so let's go! Chalene Johnson has been an influencer for a number of years, focused mainly on the Instagram space. Now, I will be honest with you, I've heard of her, maybe seen a couple things, until I went to the Grow with Video Live conference in Vegas a few weeks ago. I hadn't really consumed much of her content and didn't know a ton about her. I will tell you, after her presentation at the conference, I've become a big fan. She did a great job with her presentation, but more importantly, the content was spot on. In today's video, we're going to touch on 3 lessons that I learned from her at that conference, along with a bonus lesson towards the end. Lesson number 1. One thing that I have seen over time in looking and consuming a lot of content is the power of email. As I said in a previous video, I made the mistake of thinking email is dead, diluted, filter, spam, whatever the case may be. This was yet another example from a pro that showed the importance of growing that email list, being able to market to it, and so forth. More specifically, Chalene said 80% of her revenue, in her opinion, comes from her email list. That is telling. Another great story that ties into this point was she got hacked a year or 2 ago and absolutely freaked out. Thought her business was lost, huge damage, all that sort of thing. And a couple of her advisors came back to her and said, no matter what happens, if everything is lost, which it won't be, but if it is, you still have your email list, you'll be able to bounce back and so forth. Because it wasn't as bad as originally thought, and because of that email list, she didn't really miss a beat. That is a telling fact for an old guy like me that wasn't paying enough attention to email, and for anybody out there that doesn't understand the importance. At this point, guys, I would ask you to decimate that subscribe and like button. Don't hit it, touch it, poke it, whatever. Decimate is the word for the day. This is going to allow us to continue to make good content, help others, and so forth. Point number 2, lesson number 2 that we got from Chalene, and that is diving into the psychology of a follow. We always talk about subscribers and followers and all that sort of good stuff. Very few people really have done a good job looking at those details of why would somebody subscribe to the channel. Why would you decimate that subscribe button for me today? Why would you follow my content, Chalene's content, Gary V, whatever the case may be? Chalene did a great job of thinking about people's mindsets, and you can tell she was very sincere of building all of their different avenues, the brand, decisions they made, trying to figure out why would somebody really enjoy a certain piece of content, but more importantly, lead to them wanting more. Why would they follow, subscribe, obviously down the line, buy product, services, courses, whatever the case may be. But it all starts with that follow and with that interest. So I want you to specifically think about that, no matter what your business is. Online, brick and mortar, whatever the case may be. I can tell you specifically, after talking with thousands of clients on the sale and marketing side, very, very few people go to those depths to try to figure out, how do I get a fan? How do I get a follow? And Chalene did a fantastic job bringing the subject up and talking about the way she specifically does it, and I want you to have that same mindset moving forward. The third tip is when she really got into the weeds of Instagram. Talked about how she has grown success, how she has taught her followers, how she has taught her family members. I think she said her son's dog has 100,000 subscribers at this point and is doing well. talking about those nuances, getting into those details of your bio, getting into the consistency of content, getting into doing some different things and some different hacks on how you are going to be able to repurpose content and continue to show up for people moving forward. It really was a masterclass on Instagram. I know she offers a ton of different courses and so forth in that area. I myself am going to specifically pick up some of those this year, as I need to really step up the game on the Instagram side, and I'd advise you guys to do the same. More specifically, guys, I'll put a link down in the description tied into some of Chalene's products so you can check that stuff out for yourself. The bonus tip that I have for you today is related to what she had talked about in terms of the curiosity gap. We've heard this term at times in various areas and so forth, but it was the first time I had somebody in the social media and online marketing space bring it up. The concept of the curiosity gap is you have some knowledge, some expertise of whatever. The average person out there has a desire for that knowledge, has a desire to learn more, hence the gap in between. Her concept and what she had spoke of was, how do you bridge that gap? How do you communicate how that gap can be jumped? How can you pay for a course, study something, learn, so person here can get to here in the most efficient educational fashion? Like I said, I haven't had anybody specifically put that in that type of frame and context. It was enjoyable, and it really hit home the point of trying to produce a product, service, concept for your customers, for your clients, for your subscribers, followers, whatever you want to call it, and whatever works in your world. But I like when we have concepts that really apply to any business, and that was one of them. So thank you, Chalene, for all of your education, and thank you guys for stopping by the channel today, and be sure you check out the other videos in this series, Lessons Learned from some of the top people in their games. Peace.